Hey everyone, I am throwing my hat in the ring for the Hobby Barn Appreciation build with this 82 Z28. We're going to be building this guy up, doing it in a blue. I haven't decided what blue yet, but we're going to do it in a blue. I've already started a little bit of work on this, just some preliminary work, some test fitting and such. So on the body here, I've been sanding away. There was a body, there's still a little bit of it. You can kind of see right there, there's a body line. There should be a little bit of a body line, but that's too much. Same thing there, right there. I got rid of most of it here and on the back. There's one heck of a line right here on the pillar on either side. This side I'm still working on here. So just sanding it down. I think I'm going to do a gray and silver and blue interior. I don't know. I'll have to look up some third gen Camaros and see exactly what the interiors look like. So yeah, we'll be doing up this 1/32 scale. So I'm going to go. I'm going to get to work on this and I'll update you guys when I got something to show. Alright guys, we're working away on the Camaro. We're getting paint down on all of our surfaces. The interior tub here, it's got this nice flat black, and now what I'm going to do is go gray with it. I'm going to mask off certain areas, like the center of the tub here, the pedals, the floor mat, and this here, this whole, there's a very light detail but of a door panel here, that should be black. My armrests are also black. The dash is black. I got the seats here, half of the seats, got the other halves in paint. Those are going to be gray as well. So we're just basically going to do a two-tone here, mostly gray with black highlights. That's the interior. The body is another story. I got a little overspray of my interior color on the outside here. I'm just going to sand this off. Maybe have to repaint the black for this, and the front end here and the rear end. I'm going to be painting this with this Alclad, which I swear to God this stuff evaporates, because I remember having a lot more than that tiny little amount, but that should be enough to paint this car. We're going to paint that with the Alclads. Move everything around, and then we're going to mask off our bottom panel here. This right here is going to be masked off. And since that wraps around, we're going to have to mask off this quarter panel at the bottom. And the same thing at the rear. We're going to have to mask that little bottom panel off. And over the Alclad silver on these parts, I'm going to paint this transparent green. A light coat of the transparent green. And then over that, we're going to paint metallic blue, this metallic blue. So that's what I'm in for. And the rest of the paints, or rest of the body parts, are just slowly getting painted. Some of the engine is done up there. That's going to be a different color. I'm not sure what. It is actually a Chevy blue, so we're probably going to go with a Chevy blue on the engine. As far as the block is concerned, we're going to do something different with the manifolds and the intake. The bottom here going to remain black except for the transmission and the oil pan, and I think that's the oil filter on that side there. So those will probably just be in aluminum. The starter's over here, little detail of the starter. So we'll leave that in black. We'll paint the oil filter there, probably paint that in a white. We're going to be hand painting this stuff because it's really not necessary, and it'd be a pain in the butt to mask all that off, wouldn't it? Yeah. The springs are unusual because they're just pillars. Can't see it on here. It's on the front suspension part, and they're just pillars. So what I want to do is actually find a spring and put springs in here to make it look a little bit more realistic. Otherwise, you just have a cylinder going into there, and that's not right at all. I actually molded in the tops of those right there, which are in the car itself. Most everything in here, as far as the body, is body color. So we're going to paint that body color and then go back in and detail it. We've got the battery. We've got a couple of, I think this is the, one of these is antifreeze and one of these is for the windshield wipers. I'm not sure which. I think this is the antifreeze one. Then, of course, you got your brake booster over here. Looks like another brake booster over here, but I'm not sure what that is. These are actually flat or gloss black on the engine compartments I've seen. You got a couple of lines going around here. We'll highlight those. So yeah, got the shroud for the radiator there too. But most of everything in here is body color, except for the individual things like the battery and stuff, as I said. So that's where we're at. Just painting away. Gotta get back to painting. Be back in a minute. Yeah, guys, we're moving right along with the interior. We got the seats. Got them together. There are two parts. The seam, it wasn't too bad. I scraped it. Then I went over with some 320, and then I finalized that with some 800 just to get it nice and smooth. So both of our seats are nice and silky smooth along the seams. The cool thing about this kit is, check that out. 2 different seats. There's the drivers, there's your passengers. Now, they didn't need to do this, but they did. So Atlantis gets yet another +1 in my mind as far as attention to detail. They get a pretty good grade on the dash, too. The dash is, I would say, 99%. 1% off is the radio. The radio isn't quite right. But, you know what? Everything else looks spot on to the 82Z. So I'm not going to complain too much outside of saying it's just a little off. That's it. Now, the cool thing about the dash is they have these little bevels, plastic bevels that go around stuff like the vents up here and these little areas here and the radio. They are slightly different, so I'm going to leave most of the dash in flat black. I'm going to take a little bit on my tiniest brush, a little bit of clear, of satin clear, and I'm just going to go around these bevels to make them look more like the plastic bevels on the actual car. No big deal. The nice thing about this too is it's pretty much black. They didn't do any two-tone stuff as far as I can tell with this, unless you're doing like a 3-tone interior, but I'm just doing a 2-tone gray and black, so I'm not going to worry about it. We need to do the dials, our little gauges. We're going to very, very lightly dry brush to get those numbers to pop and the dials. And then we're going to take some of my canopy glue and we're going to put a little drop in these to give them lenses. And we have a little Z28. Let's see if I can show this off. You can see there's a Z28 by my thumb there. That actually has a decal. So we don't even have to paint that red. We can just put our nice little decal on there and that's the dash done. So that's going to be a lot of fun detailing this out. The other thing we have is this, the tub itself. Now, I'm going to leave the bottom black because, as you can see, that tunnel will be the tunnel in our frame. If we put these two pieces together real quick, that's going to be our tunnel. So we're not going to touch the frame or the bottom of the tub in any way. I'm actually going to mask off the edges here, and I'm going to put some masking tape along this edge here because this edge should be black as well. So I'm just going to take some of my really small testers yellow and I'm just going to put a line all the way around here. Completely forgot about that, but it's going to be in place. So we have a mask right here because this is basically another plastic bevel around our door handle. That's also the mount for our armrest. We have a little armrest. Those are in the box currently, so I don't lose them. But the armrest is going to come up here and kick into here, and that will be black as well. The console will be black. I've got some silly putty over it because that would just be a pain in the keister to mask off. I do have a line of my testers thin around the base just to make sure I don't get any wonky lines, because it's really hard to make this be straight. So I back that up. So around there, we've got just a little line. I have my floor mat masked off. I didn't mask off the pedals because they're really small, and I'm just going to go in and hand paint those when everything is said and done. We are ready now to get some gray into here and repaint these black and then get those gray and do some detail painting on our dash. So I'm going to get to work on that. Be right. Hey guys, I've been painting away today. Today is the day of painting. All the major painting is pretty much done. I got the interior, waiting for it to dry. I got the body repainted, hood's over here. So I decided to start doing some detail. Got my exhaust all done. There's the catalytic converter. There's your exhaust. That is ready to get rusted all up, because that's the first thing to rust is your exhaust. Got the body, or the undercarriage. Got the transmission and oil pan painted. I got the gas tank back there painted. And I started to do some weathering, just some light weathering. This is a daily driver. He bought it new in 82. It's about 84, so you're going to start to see some rust starting to creep up. I took some silver on a brush, on this brush right here. Took most of the silver off and gave it a nice dry brushing. Always dry brush in the direction of travel. Cars mainly go forward. They do go reverse, but mainly forward, so I dry brushed this way. I hit all the high points and all the corners, even all the way back here. Hit these, got this, not sure what that is, but it's there. And just did that a bunch. So we got some silver showing through, because, you know, bumps and stuff scraping out all over the place. It's a car. And then I started to rust. I took some deep rust. Got my Tamiya weathering powders over here. Took some mud, some sand, but first I took some rust. Where's my rust? There's my rust. Right there, the deep brown rust. I put that in, mainly in these areas here, and then back on the back of the wheel wells. And a couple little spots, like up in here, these high spots, a little bit in these high spots, because that's what's going to start to rust first. Then I went back and took some orange rust, and I hit some high spots and some random spots in here. It's just starting to get a little surface rust. Nothing major, no pits yet, but she's starting to rust. So after that, I went back with my little brush here, and I started to add some leak details. Got some leaks going on. I got some leaking down up here under the radiator. Maybe boiled over a few times, so get some antifreeze in there. Little stuff on the oil pan, just little tiny stuff here and there. Got my starter painted in a more gloss black. And then back here by the tank, got a little bit of leaking going on back here. Nothing major. It's not because of this, no. But I think that is the point I need to stop. You gotta know when to stop weathering. I just want this to look like it's been around for a couple years, and he's driven it every day. Not in winter, just in summer. But you're still getting rain in summer and ick, so you're still going to get some rust. And that's the point I want to stop there. So I'm going to get back to waiting for paint to dry, actually. That's today. And I'll be back with some more of this. Hey guys, so I'm creating some springs. I said I wanted to do some springs on here. So I've taken this very small wire, I think this is 28 gauge, and I found a drill bit that's the exact same width as this, because this is way too small to try to braid it on. And what I did is I just took this and I just braided it around here like so. You don't really have to worry about the shape, you can fix it later. And that gives me that. And this is the side that I've actually worked on and got done. So now all I need to do is take this, put it on here, like so, and there. Do a little reshaping once it's on, but that is basically it. That's basically what I'm doing for my springs. And I'll cut it off, and I don't even need to glue it. I'll just, when I glue these two together, it'll just be in there. Gonna have to weather it a little bit, but beyond that, that's pretty much my spring. So, I'm gonna get back to work. Alright guys, we got the body out of paint. I found this nice metallic blue. Didn't have enough alclad to cover the body, so I scrapped the candy idea. found this in my paints and said, hey, this is a really nice metallic blue. So we went with that instead. We have some detail to paint up in our engine compartment here. And here's our tail section right here. Here is the front end right here. Looking all nice. And of course our hood. Turned out pretty good. So yeah, I got some detail to start painting on here. Like our door handles, our blinkers here and the sides. I also have to paint up our tail lights in here. And it's going to be a challenge. It's very small. So we're going to have to see. I think I'm going to hand paint these. I think I'm going to have to. Because masking those off and trying to not get black paint overspray into other areas is going to be near impossible. So I'm just going to hand paint those. And I think that's about it. So I'm going to start adding details to our body. Hey guys, moving right along, doing some test fitting the body on the frame. Same thing with the hood. I got the glass just sitting here. This glass is, it goes on the outside, and it's very exacting. It's not quite in the right place. Let's move it over here a little bit. That's where it goes. So I'm going to use some canopy glue around there. Getting the black trim around this. Went ahead and I used a Sharpie. I do not like how that looks. I'll be going over that with some tulip or something. I'll hand paint that. But it does have, the nice thing about this kit, it's very small, but it does have the lip around here and this lip up here is molded into plastic. And so are those two little hinges there on either side. 2 hinges there, 2 hinges there. So easy to get a brush in there and paint that. Front end just painting in the windshield wipers with a little Sharpie. Gonna go over that with something else because again I don't like it. We got the tail, the bumper. I got some Multub on there, and we have our tail lights, which I'm currently painting. These were a pain in the butt. Getting that black stripe in there. There's a little bit of black that goes around the bottom edge and the top edge. I'll have to repaint that. I'll have to touch that up. There are 2 little lights at the end there, on the inside of this. I can show that off here. 2 little lights on the inside there. Those are your license plate lights. They go on the inside here. So I masked that area off when I went to paint. Got the amber in, so it'll be clear here because those are your backup lights. And then there's the amber, and then this whole section that goes to the side, I'll be painting that with some transparent red here. Let's put that on there and see what it looks like real quick. It's all off camera. There we go. That's what that will look like. And I think you can still see the license plate lights pretty well. Yeah, you can still see them in there. Again, I have to do some touch-up paint, but these guys are going pretty well. I went back in and I painted the inside of the engine compartment black. Let's bring it around here so it matches. It should be body color, but I wanted it black because it's just so much easier to paint your details. And there's so much of this was black, then just like, just paint it black, and then I'll just pick out highlights. And I got my air cleaner just sitting in there for the moment. The front end. Here's our front end. Again, I went back and I noticed that I forgot to paint these black, the headlight bezels, and then these vents here. I was going to paint these vents black, but there's a decal that goes over this, so I'm not going to bother. Again, with some Multub pen in for the headlights. And we got our 4 headlights on the clear tree, which I'll just, when that dries, we'll just put some canopy glue and stick those in there. So we are getting really close to having everything assembled, you guys. And then we get on with our decals, which I've been looking at. And these are going to be fun. We have multiple decals that go around curved surfaces. Like these go around the front. Your front end here. Start at the side and then wrap around and meet in the middle. So that's going to be interesting to do. We've got I think the rest are pretty good. The rear bumper will have to wrap around a little bit, but not too much because we have the sides of the bumper. So I'm guessing that these are going to overlap, these two decals, the one right here and here. I'm hoping. We'll find out when we go to do them. Anyways, I'm going to get back to work and I'll be back with some more progress. Alright guys, the car is together. Few things. Glass isn't perfect. I tried, but it's the shape of the roof here does not match the shape of the glass, so I had two options, either to kick it down and then you'd see a gap in between the roof and the glass, or to kick it up so it's kind of coming up above the roof. I chose to kick it up above the roof. Same with the back glass, or similar with the back glass. This side looks great, it kicks in, and this side it actually kicks out. I tried to place it in here perfectly, but it just doesn't want to go in there. This is why I don't like glass being attached from the outside of the vehicle. It's just really hard to get it in there. You got a nice little gap right here. But the front end's on, headlight bezels, everything done, headlights are in, paint up the fog lights. The rear taillights are probably the best part of this build. Those look pretty much spot on to the Gen 3. I had a lot of fun painting those and then getting it transparent in there. Yeah, that turned out really good. Really happy with that. Really happy with most of it except for the glass. It's the only thing that didn't turn out. So, assembly is done. I don't want to kick that up. This is still drying, so it's not the engine I really didn't do much with. It's just in there. But I don't want to play with this too much because of the glass still drying. And hood's not kicking down in there. Oh, good. I still have the mirror to put on. It's the one last thing I have to put on. I'm not sure where that went, actually, to be quite honest. So, it might not have a mirror. But anyways, now we get to the decals. So, I'm going to get some warm water. And I can already tell, just looking at these, that I'm going to have to cut these right to the edge of the decal itself. There's just a little bit of film, and I know that film around the edge is going to be a pain in the butt. So what I'm going to do is just pretty much cut these out just exactly around where they are. Otherwise, I know I'm going to have problems. But it should be pretty simple getting these on, hopefully. So I'm going to get to that and I'll be right back. Alright, decals are on. Didn't really have any problems with tearing wise. I did tear one because I'm me. That Camaro that's on the windshield here. I accidentally put this on the back. There are two distinct decals, one for the front, one for the rear. The rear decal is actually flat. The one for the windshield has a slight curve to it because of the windshield. And I failed to recognize this and put that back there, so I had to carefully remove that and put it up there. I put a little tear in the R, but you can't even see it. And that was the biggest thing as far as tears go. These went down fine. The hood badge went down fine. The license plates, I got the bow tie in front. The decal's a little bit bigger than the area, because there is a bevel that goes around where the license plate is, and it kind of overlaps that. So if you wanted to cut a little bit of the film off here, get that to fit better, you could. It's more noticeable in the back, I think. But yeah, I got a little overlap there. But yeah, this is Z28 in the back. These guys, here's our point of contention for this. Let's see. So I put these on, and I put some micro set on it, left it. When I came back, the decals had slightly shifted, so I'm going to blame that for nothing lining up. As you can see, there's actually a line in there. You can't kind of see that. Yeah, you can actually see a gap in there. Back here, you've got a decal right here. You've got a decal right here, and you've got a decal right here. These two are lined up pretty well, but then when you go around the corner, you can see that it drops down the bumper decal. The bumper decal actually goes down and around the bumper. You can see it actually goes to the bottom there, as does that side bumper panel. So that actually went on pretty well. I put microset in there, and it sucked down to there. And when I came back the next morning, it was hunkered down. I didn't even need to microsol it, but I did anyways, just to make doubly sure. And you can see this corner wobbles up, and then that lines up pretty well. And it's all because of the stupid white part of the decal. If I was making any suggestions to Atlantis, get rid of the white, because there is a very distinct line in the mold itself. You could easily tape that off and paint it. In fact, if I would have known that this was going to do all this, I would have done that. But it doesn't look horrible. And I wanted to just do the decals as they were from the kit. Because as you can see, there's a gap here. There's also a little bit of a gap up front here. So I was trying to kind of split the difference between this here and there. And I did move this decal up as far as I could, and I still got a gap there. So I would forego Atlantis, dear Atlantis, I would forego the white line. I just take that out of there. And this is a pretty new kit. This is 2021. But get rid of that, because that can easily be painted. Keep the blue, though, because this blue line fits fine here. This is 2 decals. This went around here. This whole decal, you start here and you end up here. Actually went on just fine, and it went around the corner smooth as silk. So what I would do is actually extend this all the way back to the wheel well here. So this is one decal, these 2 blues and the black line. And for the trunk, oh, of course, keep just this one right there, and your Z28. And for the trunk, what I would do is actually start it at the wheel well, go mid-trunk with one decal, and then have another decal that went mid-trunk over to the other side wheel well, just so you wouldn't have to try to put one decal all the way around the rear of the car. You could split it up, or you could just print one. I would cut it in half if it was just one piece. But yeah, that would make it much easier than this piecemeal. You get 1, 2, 3 decals you got to try to line up, and 2 at the front. So that would be my biggest complaint about the decals. Biggest complaint about the kit is the glass. And you do mount that from the outside. I pulled the instructions here. You can see right here, you mount it from the outside. Really wish that wasn't the case. I've never had glass turn out when I try to mount it from the outside. And it'd be pretty easy just to make a little bevel in there, so you could just pop it in from the inside. Still have 2 separate glasses. But yeah, that's my biggest complaint. Otherwise, this is a solid little kit. If you like the 132 scale, fun little build, weekend build kind of a thing. I took a little bit longer, but weekend build kind of a thing. Easy to assemble, easy to paint. And of course, this is my appreciation build for our buddy Terry, Hobby Barn. I will definitely build a car for him any day of the week. He's a solid guy, Terry is. So I'm going to call it there. That's the build. That's the car. I want to thank everyone for watching, and until next time, you guys take care.